Beast Wars Episode 10, Guerrilla Warfare. This was a really awesome episode because we got to see Evil Optimus, which is just really freaking cool. Like, it started off, it was supposed to be the Maximals end up getting attacked. Scorponok has, like, this new sort of missile, which is supposed to turn people into cowards, and that was supposed to be the plan, is that the Maximals would end up losing their leader because this bug would turn them into a coward. And Dinobot says that, like, that's what this is supposed to do, but it's like, well, that's not what's happening. And he's like, clearly, you know, Scorponok is a moron and he screwed up. So instead of Optimus being a coward, he turns into, like, a berserker. And of course Dinobot is like, we should probably utilize this. And everyone else is kind of like, well, you know, it's kind of split. It's like, well, maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. And Cheetor ends up going to talk with Optimus, and he believes that he has it under control, so he lets him out. Because they have him locked up because he was, like, going nuts, and he, like, an alarm goes off, and he just, like, loses his mind. So that's kind of what happens after Cheetor lets him out, and they're like, okay, he clearly isn't ready for this, but he ends up escaping anyway. So we have the Maximals trying to figure out how in the world do we end up saving him, and he just takes off to take on the Predacons, and it was a really cool episode. It was like Terminator Optimus in this episode, and he was just going crazy and was just destroying everybody. He was beating everybody up, and he just left and right, the whole freaking episode, he's just beating people up, he's taking them all down. He messed up Waspinator and they had him. I love that they did this, because, like, I've mentioned this several times before, where they'll say stuff that's clearly a reference to the old Transformers, or they'll show something that at least looks like the old Transformers. It'll make me think of it at least. And this episode was super awesome because when Optimus, like, was it this one? I might actually have my episodes mixed up. And I just went through, because I went through a couple episodes, because there are two episodes where they have kind of messed up Maximals, which is both of which are pretty effing insane, actually. But I'm pretty sure it was this one. And they had it where Waspinator got beat up. And so he was, like, hit in the head, or he was just hit really, really hard. And somehow that made him believe that he was one of the Insecticons from the old Transformers. And, like, he says, I don't believe it was Jumper. I think he uses one of the other Insecticon names, which I can't think of right now. And I'm pretty sure he used a different one. It wasn't, like, there are three. It's Hardshell, Kickback, and I don't think Jumper is one of the names. It might be something else. But he was basically being the Insecticon that would always repeat his final words. And that's who he sounds like anyway. I don't know if it happens to be the same voice actor or anything like that from the old series. But they had him do that character, and that's probably why. He probably is the same voice actor, and that's why they had that character do or act like the Insecticons. Because I thought that when I first heard him, I was like, he sounds exactly like the Insecticons. And he sounds specifically like the one that he always would say something, and the last word would always be repeated twice. So Waspinator got messed up, and so he's repeating stuff, and he's saying Decepticons and everything. And Black Arachnia is like, you know, because he says one of the names, she's like, that's a name used by one of the Insecticons, you know, in the old war, or like the Great War 3 centuries ago. So it's like, that's an awesome reference for people that, you know, love the original G1 Transformers series and film. So I was like, that's really cool to see that. And he's flying around saying Decepticons and all this stuff. So that was really cool. Outside of that was just pure rage Optimus, which is very crazy. And I mentioned there was a scene, and this is in the last review, where Black Arachnia just, like, went nuts on Cheetor. Like, he was just shooting her up and stuff, and she's just walking towards him like Terminator. Optimus really had Terminator mode going. Like, he was actually being shot in the face and everything. Like, she was getting, like, the little legs blown off, her spider legs blown off, which didn't really affect her in her robot mode. But Optimus was being shot up, and I think that was Waspinator that was doing that to him. And he was, like, they were showing him just walk through all these bullets. Like, he's got scratches. Like, by the end of the episode, he's got just, like, all sorts of little bullet scratches and stuff all up and down his body. And it was a crazy scene, because he was just in, like, this berserker rage where he ignored all the pain. And he was just walking. He's being shot in the face and everything. And I was like, this is really crazy. And he just beat up pretty much every single person. And it gets towards the end where he finally gets to Megatron. But this thing, not only is it supposed to turn you into a coward, which obviously didn't work, but the side of it that did work was it's supposed to actually drain the life out of you as you're a coward, but it backfired. So he beat everybody up as his life is being drained, and he finally makes it to Megatron, who has the cure. And Megatron's like, this is a good side of you. Guerrilla warfare works because the normal Optimus would never have made it this far. And as it's reaching the end, Optimus, not only does it drain your life, but it's also supposed to explode and kill everyone, which they kind of abandoned like at the end of the episode because it does end up blowing up. But Optimus finally has like this moment of clarity, and he's like, you know what, you did this to me, and he like rips this thing off of his chest, and it's basically like a bee, and he rips this thing off of his chest, and he throws it at Megatron, and it's something that he references the beginning of the episode because he and Dinobot are going out on an exploration where they're kind of surveying the planet, and they find like this flower, and it like shoots basically like this spiked ball. It's like a spiked seed, and it shoots it like straight in Dinobot's back, which is a hilarious scene actually because he was flipping out. And he was like, I learned this from a plant, and so he rips it off his chest and he throws it, and it lands straight on Megatron's back where he couldn't reach it because just like Dinobot in his beast mode, he his tiny little raptor hands, and Megatron has even tinier little T-Rex hands, so he couldn't reach it. And the Maximals end up going to save Optimus, during this time, and Cheetor gets in the base, and he grabs the cure. It's basically, it looks like a cattle prod a little bit, and he snatches it from Megatron as he's freaking out and running towards Scorponok, like, get this thing off of me. So he gets that, and just as Optimus is, his life is draining, he, like, hits him in the chest and he cures him. They bolt, and then Scorponok is trying to get this, like, this bee thing off of Megatron's back. And like I said, like, that was the whole thing, like, oh, we can't rip it off because it'll blow up and, like, destroy anyone within sprinting distance. And then, it goes off at the end. I was like, oh, they totally abandoned that because clearly it wasn't that big of a deal because they all survived, until the next episode. But, that's pretty much how it went. The Maximals won. Optimus was, like, crazy hardcore this episode, just beat up everybody and flew through all of them. The bomb blows up, and he has to kind of, restore himself. And so, of course, Dinobot being Dinobot, the big thing in the opening with him doing the survey and stuff is that he thinks it's stupid to be surveying plants and surveying the planet because who cares, let's just go fight. And Optimus is trying to teach him a lesson like, hey, the more we know about our surroundings, the greater advantage we'll have when we need to have it. Because we'll know what's here, we know what we can use from nature as a weapon, all sorts of little things. And so they have this really cool moment at the end of the episode where Dinobot is over Optimus, and he wakes up and he's like, they have a little talk, and has this moment, of clarity where it's like he realizes Optimus was right, and he leaves, and as he's leaving, Optimus turns to his right, and he sees the plant that they were surveying on his bedside, and he kind of looks at him as Dinobot is leaving, and he kind of smiles like, Dinobot is becoming more and more a part of their team, and that was a great little moment where it's like he learned his lesson. That's always his thing where he acts like he doesn't care, but he totally cares about them. And it's kind of cool when he kind of sheds that a little, and he went, as Optimus was wounded, to, pick up this plant they were surveying at the opening of the episode. So I thought that was a cool little way to end it, where it's like we see a bit of a softer side of Dinobot. So that was really cool. Crazy Berserker Optimus it was just really awesome, because he beat everybody up until he finally got to Megatron, and the only reason he didn't was because the thing was like at its end, and it was kind of draining him of like the last little bit of his life. So that was really cool. I really enjoyed this, and it was a nice. It was kind of creepy because it really was kind of like Terminator, and it was just weird because it was like they should be dying, like some of the stuff they did, and it was just nuts. But really enjoyed this episode. Liking to see this angry side of Optimus because it's Optimus, and it was just like the rat trap thing where it was like, I don't know if this is a fake Optimus or what's going on, but I like that side of him. It was cool to just see Optimus lose it and just beat everybody up. Like, he just destroyed everybody. So that was really awesome. The connection between the beginning and end of the episode with Dinobot realizing certain things, I thought was pretty cool as well. But certainly a fun episode. Naturally, though, if you guys have any comments, please put them down in the comment section below. And, of course, thanks for watching.